One thing about Tamron, she doesn't miss. So if we're gonna do this, I gotta bring it.
3, 2.
You may begin.
It's hard to believe I created this show 10 years ago. At the time, I was so confused about what I was doing with my life and had no idea who I was. It was people being honest and vulnerable about their stories that lifted me up. There's nothing like a conversation with another woman who understands. One of those women for me is TAMRON HALL.
Thank you all for being here today.
This is someone who had a door shut in her face and used it as fuel to elevate to new heights. Now, we all know Tamron always looks good, so I gotta get myself together. Did you hear about the situation? Oh, you didn't hear about the situation. So basically the outfit's gone. Yeah. No, look at your face. I'm gonna show you the options right now.
Okay. I would do cheetah and I would do gold jewelry.
Yeah, I have gold earrings.
Yeah, keep it cute, keep it simple. I was worried you were about to wear a gray suit and that.
No, if I had to wear a gray suit, I would have just cried.
Yeah.
Straight up.
So welcome.
Thank you. I feel so beautiful.
Listen, y'all are gonna have a great day.
It's gonna be a great day. Let's rock and roll. Let's rock and roll. Let's rock and roll. Rock, roll, rock. What's the ETA right now?
9:16.
16?
Yeah.
It's not awful. It's not great, but it's not awful. I get nervous before interviews sometimes, but with Vision in Vogue, there's this peace that comes over me. I just get into a zone.
They're gonna go to audience and then they're gonna watch the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Come through, white suit. Okay. One thing Tamron is gonna do is have an outfit slay.
Hi guys, good. I have your wristbands actually.
Amazing.
Oh, perfect. Jennifer, Danny, can you bring in 3 of the house guest wristbands? Vivian's inside.
There was no better place for this conversation to happen than on the set of her show. What I love about Vision in Vogue is that I get to step into someone else's world.
You may begin. 3.
TAMRON Hall!
We're in the room together.
Oh my goodness, we're in the room together. Last time we talked, it was on Zoom. You look so good.
Thank you.
Let me tell you, I just sat in that audience and I laughed. I cried. My sister was back there crying. She was actually crying, like actual tears. I turned and looked at her room. I mean, what an electric experience. How were you able to create that in this space? What do you think it is that makes people have this rush of emotion?
I think it's just the joy and the excitement, and I also believe it's people feel welcome, right? And when you feel welcomed into a place, or when you feel welcome to watch that show and welcome into the party, you're just yourself. And I hope people feel that at home. I know they feel it at home. Thank goodness we're 5 seasons in.
5
Can't believe
seasons.
it. Yeah.
What's the secret sauce?
You know what? It's been the conversation, storytelling. We have some of the biggest names in Hollywood come on this show, but people open up. You know, Angela Bassett was here, and she starts just to just share this journey. We get past the accolades. We get past, you're here promoting this movie or this TV show. And we get to the heart of that person because we were all at some point a kid who watched TV and wondered if we could do something. You know, you look at a firefighter or whatever and you say, could I do that? Could I do this? And we get to the heart of that. We had Carl Anthony Payne Jr., an icon on the Martin cast, had never done a daytime interview ever in his career.
And trusted you to do it.
And trusted so because he's an introvert and it's that interesting world. But I think it's the storytelling. I think we bring out, I hope, the realness of the interview, whether it's a celebrity or someone who doesn't live their life in the public eye, which is that blend that people love. I believe.
Yeah. You walked out of those double doors. And everyone went, including me, went crazy. You walk out of here and you see your name and all these lights and all those people who came here to see you. Yeah. What does that feel like when you think about your journey and what it has taken you to get to this space? What does that feel like for you? Can you take it in?
Oh, I do. You know what I do? And sometimes I walk out and I want to cry. I just want to burst into tears of joy and gratitude for this show. And while my name is on the show, I do believe, though, they are here to see the conversation. I happen to be the person facilitating it. I bring my own, I guess, unique way of doing that. But it really is a community. When we started to call the folks who watch our show the TAM fam, it wasn't to get onto a trend. You know, everyone has their name for their fans, but it really was meant to be a love letter to family. And the people who watch our show and who support me are like families. We're gonna laugh together, cry together, we're gonna learn together, and we're gonna have a conversation. When I first launched this show, I was told, no, 1 hour topicals won't work, and people aren't into 1 hour shows anymore. They need it quick, fast. And I never believed that, because the idea of sitting down, lunch, dinner, breakfast with someone that you are happy to be around, time flies, right? And so this hour, when we end the show, sometimes the audience is like, wait, what, it's over?
I know, it went by so fast.
Yeah, it goes so fast. And even when I watch from home, it's just, you get caught up in the moment. And I sit here and I watch at home and I get caught up in the moment.
Was this always your vision for yourself, to go in to talk?
No,
Really?
I'm a journalist.
You're so good at it.
Thank you, I appreciate that. You know what, listen, I've been a journalist for 30 years. It's my first love. I love this, and that's why when I wrote my novel, As the Wicked Watch and Now Watch Where They Hide, it was important that my protagonist be a journalist, because it is what I love. I love every aspect of my job. I've always been very curious about people, and I've always just been able to, I don't know, just sit in a seat and just enjoy that present moment of talking.
Do you ever miss, I guess, harder news, or do you feel more at home doing this?
The great thing about this show is we do a mix of everything. We were the only daytime show, to dedicate a full hour after the George Floyd murder. Hear Us Now was our show dedicated to the women of Iran. Brittany Griner, when she was being held in Russia. We've done social issues. This season, we kicked off with the Summer of Skinny and this conversation around weight. And suddenly, over the summer, everyone was pointing and speculating, is she on it? Is he on it? Is she on it? And we had that very real conversation. One of our highest rated shows was medical gaslighting. The number of women, particularly Black women, who are not believed when they go into their doctor's office and say they're not feeling well. Many doctors, have been accused of dismissing women and saying, oh, it's just in your head. We had an entire hour of women who were not listened to, who didn't feel heard, and were sounding the alarm to other women and to the medical community. So we do, big conversations. We call them candid conversations, but we get into it. As much as we have fun, we do it all.
Yeah, you do tap into a lot of issues, and honestly, you did the same in your book.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I wasn't expecting that. It kind of caught me off guard, but in the best way, because you kind of brilliantly weaved in certain things. And I was like, oh, she said that,
It's really, I wanted to give the reader a glimpse of what it's like in the newsroom from a character like me, but also have the luxury of fiction and to create this juicy thriller world where I hope people would just dive in and at the end scream out loud, because the shocking ending, I wanted it to be a mystery and a true thriller, but through the lens of Jordan Manning, a character inspired by me with a little extra sauce of fiction.
No, honestly, I'm reading it and I saw myself in this role. Or in this character.
Well, now you say role, you might have to audition.
I might have to audition for the movie.
I'll take it.
Well, I don't know if I told you this last time, but my whole career I was a morning anchor. Oh, wow. So I'm reading
so you know this.
Oh, I know. If you know, you know, and I know. Okay, I'm reading this and I'm literally thinking to myself, I went through all of it. Like I went through this stuff. And so, I think for a long time I stayed silent about a lot of things because I was just so, oh my gosh, I don't want to get emotional. But I stayed silent about a lot of things because I just was concerned about my career and I don't know, so I felt seen in this book. Was that the intention?
Absolutely. I wanted people to go into this world, and I needed to pull from real things that happened to me because it gave her credibility and authenticity. I crime reporter for most of my career, true crime show, Deadline Crime ran for 6 seasons. And I wanted her to have that truth, right? That not I imagine what it's like to be a crime reporter. No, this is what it's like, but also the truth of what it's like to be a Black woman in these spaces. I was the first Black woman to host the Today Show. I've been the first in many categories in my career, and that gives you a unique perspective. But I also wanted people to understand that no matter her race, no matter her background, like a good reporter, you go in and your job is to do the job and see the human in the story.
How did you emotionally and mentally deal with certain experiences in the newsroom, being a Black woman in a newsroom?
Now I'll go back to Angela Bassett, who was just here talking about the hard work and the struggle. And in fact, she's on the cover of the magazine, and we talked about having to fight for your dreams. We all know that this industry could do better. We also know that it's a far cry. It's not the place it was when I entered the news business in the early 80s. I've gone from being the only Black woman in the newsroom to watching many of my colleagues now enter the space. And I just was over at GMA, and it's like, wow, look at this. It wasn't like that when I first came around. So you see the joy of the change, but you understand the pain of the realities that we face in this industry, but also, as I said, in any industry. I mean, Halle Berry was here. She was promoting her directorial debut, I think it was, and I said, but you're Halle Berry. She goes, but I'm still a Black woman in Hollywood. And I'll never forget her saying that. So this space, this TAMRON Hall show, we give people an opportunity to speak those truths. I have a chance to speak it through Jordan in my book, so it all kind of weaves in together in this interesting way. But the common thread is storytelling and giving your voice and your story air to breathe and others to read it.
Because I don't think that you have to be in a newsroom to identify with Jordan at all.
Listen, my mother was a single mom at age 19 before she married my father, who helped raise me, of course. And I remember my mom going to work, and she would come home and just sometimes in her little factory job just felt invisible, felt marginalized, felt that it wasn't meant for her to win. And I would hear these stories.
And if you win, then it's like, wait, that was a fluke. That was supposed to happen.
Absolutely. So that was that's been a part of the journey for all the women in my life. So it's not unique to entertainment. It's not unique to news. It's society, and we know that. And that's why on this show and in that book, I'm purposeful about having this conversation. And if it makes someone uncomfortable that I have these conversations, then, that's unfortunate because they're missing out on an opportunity to learn. It's not to make anyone feel bad. It's for you to learn.
Yes. Did you have to develop that boldness over time, or just have you always been?
No. That's why I laugh when people ask me if I'm Jordan Manning, the character, because she's a lot tougher than I was in my 30s. Of course, I would shrink myself down. Of course, when I had very decisive things that I wanted to say, or definitive things I wanted to say, I would, they're going to think I'm bossy, or they're going to think I'm, that confrontational Black woman, or all of these things. And I had to, at some point, it's what Michelle Obama said years ago. She said, the question is less about me and more about the person who's asking. And so for me, I said, okay, if me speaking up for myself makes you think that I am bossy, or I'm demonstrative, or I'm an angry Black woman, that's on you. I can't carry that weight. I know that the decisions I make, whether it's for the show or for my own career in life, I make them with good intentions. And I know some people say good intentions don't matter. They do. Your intentions matter greatly. And for me, it's just about enjoying this great career. And that's why I said, I'm going to do the talk show, I'm going to do the book, I'm going to produce shows, I'm going to write things. I have the great fortune of living my dream because people relate to the journey. They relate to the many years of IVF. They relate to me losing my dream job, but then finding my next chapter. So I'm happy to share those things if people can be inspired by perseverance, and also inspired by truth, because a lot of days I didn't know how it was going to turn out. I'd be in the corner crying. But I was hopeful that it would be okay.
Been there. I think I did tell you this, but I was let go from an anchor job as well. And it was also, I think it's the publicness of it. You know, like we don't get to get fired in private. Everybody's like, what happened to you? What's going on?
Yeah, and you have to put on a tough exterior while inside, you know, you're hurting. And that's what's been great about the show as well. We've had this conversation when you know, your next chapter or defining you or unapologetically you. That's why we have these full theme conversations on the show, because it is relatable. And I tell people all the time, you're going to lose something. You might lose a significant other because they don't want to be in the marriage or the relationship anymore. You might lose a job, but it's how you reclaim who you are, reclaim your identity in those losses.
I remember getting in my car when I found out that I had been let go. And I got in the car and I told one of my friends, and she goes, true story, she goes, "Oh, you're going to TAMRON HALL this situation." Literally.
I love that. I do it,
She
not
said,
just because I'm TAMRON HALL. I love that. You know what? I'm going to have to tell myself to TAMRON HALL it up in some cases.
She literally
That's
said, she was like,
funny.
"Oh, don't even worry about it. You're going to TAMRON HALL this situation."
Wow.
So even sitting here talking to you about this is kind of a full circle thing.
Oh
It's kind of
my
it's
God.
kind of hysterical.
Well, congratulations. Look at you.
Hey, look at me now, sitting here talking to TAMRON HALL.
I'm shouting it out.
So, in the corner of my eye, I'm looking at 2 Emmys, and I don't know, the Emmys have been just start shining in my eyes this whole time. You have this amazing show. You have this book. You're a wife. You're a mother. Do you feel like, okay, mission accomplished?
Oh,
At this point in your life and career?
You know, I'm very, 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 very happy, and I am deeply humbled by the things that I've been able to accomplish. I think the mission accomplished part of it will be an opportunity to open doors for other young women, young people of color who have great ideas. I mean, Jordan Manning, I was told by the publishers, the first Black female journalist protagonist solving crime written by a Black female journalist in all of publishing. And I believe that it's a great story, but I also believe because I came in as TAMRON HALL, they wanted to support the project. So I'd love an opportunity now to help the next round of executive producers, the next round of writers, the next round of journalists, get in rooms that were not always, and that are still not always open. And that will be my next chapter. I've thought about whether or not I want to be a professor and teach, you know, how to do a talk show and all of the surprising things that I've learned in the world of true crime. But there are many things left. To be able to see your hard work turn out the way you had hoped is a blessing, and I'm very grateful.
Honestly, you just continuing to be yourself. I mean, you see the impact. You hear the impact when you walk out of here. I heard it.
That's why I don't have
today.
a voice.
Literally.
Trying to talk over this crowd. Like,
Exactly. I saw the impact. I heard the impact, and I just hope that you feel that.
I feel it every minute of my life, and
Yeah.
I'm the luckiest girl in the world. Mary Tyler Moore's got nothing on me.
I remember last time we talked, you said to me, to bet on yourself.
100%.
And that really, really, really stuck with me. And honestly, it kind of convicted me because I knew there was a lot of things that I'd been kind of pushing off that I needed to be doing. Yeah. So thank you so much. Ever since then, I've been on my Zoom. Like, I've been like, okay.
Get it going.
Like,
you have
get
to
it
bet
going.
on yourself. You are unique to this universe because God meant each of us to be unique in our own way. And then it's wasted if we don't find ways to bet on ourselves. That's my theory.
Thank you so much, TAMRON HALL.
Thank you.
You're so sweet. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're the best. You make me happy every time we talk.
Watching Tamron's journey has helped me so much just to graduate to new levels of understanding. When a door closes, it doesn't mean that it's the end. It's actually an opportunity to start a new beginning. I know it gets really scary when we don't know what the next chapter looks like, but goodbyes push us into the next level. Bet on yourself. Your vision is depending on it. Viv.